All right, guys. Now this is our segment where we turn it over to our winners and our listeners for some questions for you. Anybody got questions for the guys from Red?
See some people with some note cards over here. You guys got some questions?
Anybody? Yeah?
So I have a friend in town named Joe Pangalo. He used to play at Day of Fire, and I always enjoy his stories, hearing him when he was on the road. Just talk about maybe the bands I like that he hates, or like, are there anybody out on tour or other bands that you guys have really liked or enjoyed when you're out on tour? Or,
Like bands we hate on tour. No, I'm just kidding.
or bands you hate too.
No, we don't talk about those bands. I'd say one of our favorite bands, and I think everybody kind of agrees, is Seether. We did a lot of touring with them back in 2008, and we just really love those guys. They're fun on the road, and a couple of other bands like Seven Dust, and I'm trying to think who else. I mean, 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, like all those guys are really awesome to tour with.
All the bands that are going into retirement.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sorry about the tuning.
How long have y'all been a band and touring?
I think we're going into our 7th year. So yeah, this is our 4th studio album. We've probably played well over 10,000 shows.
Awesome.
Which one's been your favorite?
Which show?
Yeah.
Or just which tour? Or
Yeah. No, I mean
Tour.
just your favorite, the one that really stuck out to you.
I think Moscow, Russia was our favorite.
Oh wow.
The barricade collapsed. People almost died. We had to stop the show. It was that
a long
intense.
time ago.
We
And
yeah.
that was your favorite?
That was this past year. Well, just because, I mean, I think we showed up in Moscow, had never released a record over there, and our 3rd record was actually the first time we released in Asia. So we're excited to go back, but man, we showed up and we played a club that was, I think, 1,000 capacity, and I think they oversold it. We sold out the venue. It was a place, it was a club called Milk, which we thought was really cool.
Heck yeah.
But we were, they obviously literally don't speak a word of English, and we're in the back dressing room area, and it's a really small, kind of cramped backstage, so we can hear everything that's going on out there. And this chant just starts, red, 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 and they're saying red. I try to do that tongue thing, that red, 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 like that kind of thing. So we did a video. We turned the camera on right away. We did a video blog, and we were just like, talking to the camera, like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? Like, this is insane. So we walk out there, and literally when we took the stage, it was obviously blacked out. When the lights came up, literally I think every single person in the room planned it, but there was 1,000 red balloons that just went flying into the air, and people were just lit. From that point on, it was complete chaos. Girls crying in the front row, holding signs up, "Oh, never be the same," just freaking out. And it was really intense for us. Actually, a couple of us got really choked up. We're just like, how does our music reach this far? And the fact that they were so respectful and loved every second of it. It was amazing to go over there and get that sense. Because over here in America, there's a lot of jaded, elitist fans that they have a difficult time understanding bands. And over there, they're just in love with music. Period. So to have that opportunity was incredible. And then we literally that show. So what did we spend? About $8,000 in baggage fees because we got gypped in Russia, flying from Moscow to St. Petersburg, which is northern Russia. And again, another packed out show, sold out crowd, people crying, freaking out. It was amazing. You don't really experience that a lot over here. So we came back over, we have these high expectations for American crowds, and it just doesn't happen all the time. There's obviously shows that are just ridiculous, but when there's a circle pit in Russia and girls are in it, and it's just like, it literally looks like a whirlpool of people.
Dead
and then,
bodies everywhere.
So we had to stop the show because the stage collapsed and people were starting to get pinned under the stage. We literally have never stopped a show in our life. We've been, like I said, we've toured and played so many shows, we've never had a stage. We actually felt like the stage was going to collapse, so we were freaking out. But Mike jumped into the crowd, started crowd surfing with a camera on his head, and everybody surged forward just to touch him. And when that happened, the barricade just went whoosh, and it was crazy. Like these big Russian dudes come out and they're wearing these these earpieces, and they're just like, they're pushing everybody, and we were nervous because we were like waiting for these guys to pull guns out or something. It's Russia, man. You don't mess with Russia, And one of the things they told us too is that when you're out there, the last thing that you want to do, and they're obviously speaking broken English, so we're just like, last thing you'll do is put red hand in air like this. So if you put your right fist in the air, it stands for the Communist Party, and the band's called Red. So it's like, double whammy. So we thought at that point when the stage collapsed, they were either mad at us or they were having such a good time. But it was definitely the latter. So that was definitely one of the most memorable shows. I think we cannot wait to go back. It's going to be unbelievable.
All right, got one more, time for one more question.
Did that answer your question? And then some?
That was the short version.
Yeah, that was a short version.
Tell me how you got together. Tell me the early story of Red.
We were born together. Literally, we're twins.
We say we're womb mates. So,
Yeah, but Anthony, we're from a small town in Pennsylvania, and Mike moved into town when we were 8, I think.
yeah.
And we met each other, I think, a week
hometown.
after you got into our school. So we've been friends for 27 years. And then we met Joe through our former drummer, who's
First year of touring,
Yeah.
give or take.
we had an accident on I-24 in 2009, and he suffered an injury to his shoulder, and he couldn't continue drumming. But we knew Joe through him, and Joe was actually our drum tech at the time. Joe was in the accident with us and survived. Here he is today.
Still as skinny as he was.
But Joe started filling in for him, and we were just looking at each other every night on stage like this is great, and we're like, let's not fix what's not broken. So
Well, Joe did all the drums on the second record because our other drummer was hurt so bad he couldn't lift his arm above his head. You have to obviously be able to do that when you play drums. So it was a tough thing for us, but we had to let him go and move on. To keep things rolling. So we hired Joe, and this is the band. This is the core that we wish that would have always been from the very start. So we have fun together. Well, thank you.
well, thanks.
I'm having a great time. We're good.
All right, guys, you got time for one more?
Yeah, we'll do another one.
Let's do it.
We did.
Let me make sure I'm in tune.
I'll talk while he tunes. This song was off our very first record, but we chose to on this current record because we did change things up a little bit on this. We wanted to remind people of where Red came from.